The show that I watched last night, the Mike Pence show, was just pretty unbelievable. I took a few notes, and I realize I'm the last one in the daily lineup to talk about this, but that's good. That's cool. This is where I belong, last in the daily lineup, right? But first of all, his head shaking. Did you notice the head shaking, the shaking no? Every time Harris came up with a fact that Pence had no response to, that Pence had no rejoinder, that Pence knew was the truth and nothing he could do about it, he shook his head. And his upper body movements, this is one of the things about him that drives me crazy, the way he kind of sways to the left, then sways to the right, stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. It reminds me of high school, sway to the left, sway to the right. Oh my God, I hate that motion that he does. It is so Christian, I guess. I don't know. He's an uber Christian. I don't know where he picked that up. And then, of course, his sneers. There's one thing I've noticed that Mike Pence has perfected, and that is his talent for the sneer. I mean, the man can sneer in a way that just, you want to applaud if you're an aficionado of sneers. You just want to stand up and say, damn, that's a good one. And of course, his refusal to play by the rules, which is typical white male Christian, Republican, fascist. They don't play by the rules. Rules, schmools. The rules are for the dumbasses. I play by God's rule and Donald Trump's. And, I'm sorry, I got them in reversed order. By Trump's rules and God's. But his refusal to play by just common courtesy, which none of these male white bastards ever understand. And this is what really drives me crazy, because I happen to be male and white. And I don't like the fact that every single white male politician I see is just an arrogant son of a bitch, especially when he's around women. That superior attitude. And part of that is his Christianity, too. And that's true with Judaism and Christianity and Islam. You know, women are the demons, because women, according to the Abrahamic religions, released death to the human race. But that superior attitude with Susan Page, who is the moderator, and with Kamala Harris, who is a better woman than Mike Pence will ever be a man, with no question about her superiority, her intellectual superiority. Okay. Her intellectual superiority, her ability to speak in paragraphs rather than sound bites, her ability to answer a question, although I'm going to fault her here in a moment about that. There are a couple of times she didn't. But her ability to answer a question when she is asked one. Now, of course, since the questions came from a woman who obviously was against Donald Trump, Mike Pence didn't have any obligation to answer the questions at all, and for that reason, did not. Also, his bleeding eye. Well, what is up with that? I guess it was his left eye. The blood thing in the corner of his left eye, is that one of the initial signs of COVID-19? I wouldn't be surprised. Mr. Bleeding Eye. Or did Trump smack him upside the head before? Well, no, Trump was back in self-quarantine. Oh, he doesn't have to be in self-quarantine. That's right. He's healed. He's healed. Thanks be to God. God showed him the way, or some such bullshit. But the bleeding eye, that sounds like a spooky story that you were told around a campfire when you were a kid, right? The bleeding eye. Boom, boom, boom. And then, of course, his fly. That was the high point of the entire show insofar as the ridiculousness of Mike Pence was concerned. The real high point of the show was Kamala Harris's repeated, clear, erudite answers. But the fly, you know, I tweeted this morning, I spent a couple of summers working on a farm in Michigan, doing all sorts of stuff. And it's really difficult, strenuous, killer work. But one thing that I learned there, one of the many things I learned in working on the farm, is that flies will always head for the nearest pile of bullshit. It's just their nature. And I think Pence's fly last night was just obeying his, or its, I don't know if it's a male or a female fly, just obeying its genetic predisposition to head for the nearest pile of bullshit. How long was it on Pence's head? Somebody took time to a couple of minutes. It was pretty weird. Another thing that I noticed was his poor Christian subjugated wife who came trotting on, well, she didn't trot. She came slinking on stage after the debate with no mask on. Kamala Harris's husband, obviously, comes on stage to congratulate his spouse with a mask on. But not Mrs. Pence. She's protected by Jesus or somebody, maybe the fly. And then the overarching thing I noticed about these two candidates, and I hate to put them in the same sentence like that, because Trump's not a candidate. I'm sorry, Pence is not a candidate. But do you notice his dead eyes, aside from the bleeding part? The man has dead eyes like a whipped dog. Now, how do I know about whipped dogs? Well, I noticed that a lot of commercials on television have been canceled, obviously. So the TV stations are running just an enormous amount of PSAs, public service announcements. And there's a whole series of ones about the ASPCA and animal shelters and so on and so forth, these public service announcements that they're running. And the animals that they show, it's just so goddamn sad and painful and hurtful to see these animals. Who treats dogs and cats the way these animals obviously were treated? It's heartbreaking. And I have to confess, I hate to admit this, but when those commercials come on, that's when I get up to go get a cup of coffee or something. I can't watch them anymore. But Mike Pence has the same whipped dog look in his eyes. Now, I can understand why. First of all, he's a Christian. And Christians, the small c Christian, not followers of the Rabbi Jesus of Nazareth. No. Please don't ever misunderstand. I have great respect for that rabbi. I think he really talks some good talk. You know what I'm saying? And he walked the walk in addition to talking the talk all the way up to the end. I'm talking about these Christian fascists like Mike Pence who have this whipped dog look because they know there's a part of them that knows. And they're counting that it's not true, but they know there's nothing at the end of their journey on this planet except oblivion. They know that, but they've had this shit pounded into them all their lives. And you get somebody Mike Pence's age and he's got that whipped dog. So it's his religion has beat him down, and King Rat has beat him down. Poor Mike Pence. Now, I don't feel any sympathy for Mike Pence. He's an adult male like you are. If you're a man like I am, he could stand up to Trump and tell him to go piss off. But of course, the people around Trump can't do that because Trump will heal a thunderbolt at them or something. I don't know what the hell they believe. So there's that whipped dog look of Mike Pence. Ooh, I can't say anything. I just have to look at my exalted leader with that whipped dog look. And you see it every time he's around Trump. He just stares at the back of his head or the back of his suit coat or the back of his ass or whatever it is Pence is staring at with that look of whipped dog admiration. Now, by contrast, Kamala Harris has lively eyes. I'm sure you noticed just there's life in her eyes. There's vibrancy. There's interest. You're just pulled in to listen to what she has to say by her eyes. It's just like, come here. I want to tell you some stories. Come here. Listen to me. I've got wonderful things to tell you. Come here. Listen up. Whereas Mike Pence, if you get past the bloody eye and the whipped dog and that little sad look that he has all the time. Have you ever noticed his eyebrows kind of go up in the middle and down on the sides because he's always got that little whipped dog? Ooh, I'm Donald Trump's lap dog. And when Donald doesn't beat the shit out of me, God does. I just can't win. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.